starting material, the material to reduce to oil is there in abundance in the sea.
I'm surprised that the safety measures are not very strict for what can and can't be done under the sea.
I think they are. In a lot of places they are strict, and we don't have that many. I know we have many blowouts occurring each year, but for the amount of wells being sunk, we're not having that many reported. That many disasters. We know we're having quite a few per year, and the ones that don't really leak oil all over the ocean, don't get to hear about them, especially if they're far out and nobody sees them. Nobody's going to report them, or people will get a small smack on the wrists and carry on.
What do you think about the dispersants being put in the water?
I think some of them are bad, like the glycols and that, but they're not as bad as the oil. I think what's bad about them is they make the oil miscible. In other words, it's no longer immiscible. It no longer sits on top of the water. It now dissolves in the water. So the dispersants themselves are bad, but not as bad as the toxic stuff in the oil. But what makes them bad is you now have the oil dissolved in the water, and instead of it floating on the top, the fishes and anybody who swims in the water, that's being absorbed through their skin. For the fishes and all the animals in the sea, they're breathing it in through their gills all the time, and it's going through their skin. So it's bad.
I'm so sad.
Floating on top and underneath is bad.
I also read that there's another leak that is asserted to be much bigger, 5 to 6 miles away. Have you heard that?
I've heard something like that. I can't say. To me, that's all theory. I mean, it's all guesswork at this stage until we actually see the evidence, until we see the video cameras at work, and we need some private people to go in there and expose it and see what's going on with their private submarines and private vehicles. We know deep water submarines exist, ones that can go down 36,000 feet, with human beings in. That's been done already in the 1960s. So we might as well use that technology to see what's really going on there.
If you could say anything right now, if you could close your eyes and you were in charge of solving the problem, state again what you would do and lay it out. I know you've been talking about it the whole time on the show, but boom, this is what I would do immediately. Let's say we put the hat on you today and you are crowned the person who's in charge of the cleanup and restoration. What happens? What's the first thing you're doing?
I would first get the mud logs and the e-logs published, so we have a two-dimensional and three-dimensional picture of what's going on. Well, we would also get the sonar pictures published as well, so we can see what they drilled into. What did they drill into? Was it a monster fault zone? So we know. I would date the oil. I would then, whether this oil ends up being new oil or old oil, the solution is exactly the same. You've got to drill 8 wells around that existing well, depressurize the area, get the oil out, pipe it to the coast. We can all use the oil in our automobiles. Nothing has changed. So get the oil out of the area, sink wells in. If you sink 8 in, it's not enough, and the oil's still coming through the sea floor. Sink in 20, sink 50, 100. Doesn't really matter. Get the oil out of the area until it's depressurized. If the oil continues to flow, you're just going to have to put in more wells, probably 1,500 feet apart, until that whole area is depressurized and you've taken out as much oil as is being created, or the zone is emptying out. It can be done. So I think we must get on with it. It'll take 2 months for a well to go down 20,000 feet, and they must case them properly. They mustn't use Halliburton for the work.
They said they must or they mustn't?
They must not use Halliburton for the work. Halliburton screwed up the cement work there, and we don't need them working on places like this anymore. So they must get people like Schlumberger or other people in so that we can have a solution.
Do you think that who the group is that comes in to correct it is a political thing, like a government contract type thing? And don't you think there's going to be pressure to use a Halliburton, for example?
If they use them, hopefully they will do a better job that people are watching them at work now. They're still going to continue in the world. They're a giant organization, so they will still continue. So use them, use other people, and get the job done.
I have a very difficult question for you. How would you see to it that the forensics are not being played with? That means the sonar information, the information about the state of these wells that's recorded and already been electronically submitted. How do we make sure that when you get those records, they haven't been altered?
Well, you've got to get the records from multiple people. They've been emailed to multiple people, those logs, and they're usually in PDF format. Of course, we can alter PDF as well, but they're really in PDF format, and they've been sent to many geologists. So you need to get the email list of who they were sent to, and they've been sent to the Department of Oil and Gas as well. So the Department of Oil and Gas isn't going to alter their logs. So get it from all the geologists, all the investors on this well, whether it's BP or outside investors as well that received copies of the e-logs, mud logs, and get those reports, the company man reports, on a daily basis. Not just the final reports, get the ones that were done for the whole period that they were drilling. Every day, every 12 hours there was a report, and look at them. Compare the ones that when they were drilling to the ones that were done finally. And there literally are thousands of these reports around. So it would be very difficult to doctor thousands and thousands of reports sent to many different people and organizations.
I really appreciate you taking your time to share your expertise with us and to really give us the inside scoop of what needs to happen and why and what the real state of affairs is. Is there anything else you'd like to say on the show today?
No, thanks, Kim. Just get on with it, and not you specifically, but the world, get on and fix the problem. People are dying. The ecosystem's dying. Do something about it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Many blessings.